Hello, everybody, and welcome back to RedVsRed podcast, your favorite Manchester United fan channel. Wanted to talk to you guys today a little bit about a couple of things. Yesterday, we had the match against PAOK in the Europa League. I want to hit on some of the highlights there, as well as talking about Ruud van Nistelrooy, who may be managing his last game for us this coming weekend on Sunday. And Amorim and his most recent game that I think a lot of us were happy to see, and so I'll get into the details of what that was, exactly what happened there, and finally we'll go into the preview of the Leicester match that we have on Sunday. And first things first, I do want to thank everybody that has followed and subscribed on Rumble and on YouTube. Thank you. We certainly appreciate that. If you guys like the content, definitely do that for us. Like, follow, comment as well. We like to engage with everybody, so please definitely give us the opportunity to do that. It really helps us out, and it's basically free to you. So with all that said, I guess let's get into it. Yesterday's match against PAOK, really the one thing that I wanted to touch on was, Amad Diallo just absolutely going off. Second half, getting those 2 goals. Super excited to see him come back into the first team. He's kind of struggled to get minutes here recently, and I'm really glad that he got put in yesterday because he definitely put in a shift. I think the team kind of struggled a little bit in the first half, but second half we were firing on all cylinders, and it was really great to see that. And congrats to him for getting that brace. Unfortunately, it did look like he came off with a little bit of an injury, so that is a foot injury. We're not sure whether or not that's going to keep him out of the squad this weekend or not. As much was shared by Ruud van Nistelrooy in his press conference. So fingers crossed that we can see a little bit more of Amad Diallo in the coming weeks, coming months, and see a resurgence from him because that was our first win in the Europa League, and that finally after 3 draws, we really needed those points. And so to have a young guy like Amad Diallo come in and make the difference, especially with that second goal that was all him, no help needed, dispossessing the defender, shrugging him off, taking that shot. I mean, just, man, you love to see it. And so I want to see more of him. He's been struggling to get those minutes, but we will see how that goes coming up. And, maybe he'll get some minutes for Ruud's last game against Leicester. This will be his final run out, as the interim coach of Manchester United. It's yet to be decided whether or not he's going to stay on as an assistant coach whenever Amorim comes in. He should likely be holding talks with Amorim sometime in the next week or so about whether or not he is going to stay on the coaching staff. I think his current deal goes through 2026, but if Amorim doesn't want him and the higher-ups decide that it's not really worth it to keep on a guy that your new head coach doesn't want, then we might unfortunately see him heading out. So I would hate to see that. I love Ruud van Nistelrooy, obviously a legend, and very clearly from the last few games that he's been in charge, he has a very positive influence on the players' mentalities and the morale. It seems like we've been firing on all cylinders in terms of goal output. The Chelsea game was a little bit of a stutter, but we still ended up getting the goal and tying that game 1-1. So altogether, I would say that he's had a very solid performance in his 3 games as our head coach. So. And he's mentioned in an interview that he would definitely be open at some point in the future to taking the helm and taking the reins for Manchester United and being that head coach. So who knows? We'll kind of just have to see how that plays out. We'll see if Amorim can come in and make a difference, and if not, then we might see him sooner rather than later. But in the meantime, we have seen some really good things from Amorim's sporting side in the midweek against Manchester City, just absolutely thumping them 4-1. And so that's definitely the kind of performance that we as Manchester United fans want and hope to be able to expect going forward as, at Manchester United. It's not going to happen overnight. There's going to be a lot of pieces that are going to have to get into place, and it is going to take some time. But, man, if we could be thumping City like that regularly, I would absolutely love that, as everybody would, I'm sure. So fingers crossed that we can kind of see a little bit of that here in the next few weeks. And we do have the international break coming up, so we won't see everybody again until the 24th after this match on Sunday. So that will be exactly 2 weeks to the day. And so that's whenever we'll next see our Manchester United team play, and it will be under that new head coach, Ruben Amorim. So looking forward to that and seeing what he can do with the players that are not selected for international duty in the meantime. Definitely a lot of work to be done, and looking forward to seeing what happens. But right now, I think we should be focused on the here and the now, and that is going to be the match against Leicester that we have coming up on Sunday at Old Trafford. We had a recent game against Leicester in the EFL Cup, and that was, I believe that was RUUD'S first game in charge as the interim head coach, and man, everybody came out firing on all cylinders. It was a 5-2 scoreline at the end of the day. Lots of goals coming through. I think Bruno Fernandes got a couple, which he definitely needed. Just a real big confidence booster, I think, which led us into the Chelsea match that we ended up tying. So, fingers crossed that we can see another solid performance like that from the guys against this Leicester team that has been struggling a little bit here recently. And if RUUD'S already got the keys to the castle for Leicester's defense, then we might just see another run-up scoreline. And so I think the guys are going to be motivated for his last game in charge, and possibly his last match for a long time as a member of the coaching staff at Manchester United. Then we'll just have to wait and see. But why don't we go ahead and dive right into that with my anticipated lineup for this match. And yeah, I think we're going to see a lot of familiar faces here. Andre Onana in goal as usual. Nothing too crazy there. We are going to see, I think, at least a pretty stable back line that we would normally see or expect to see until the end of November, whenever Luke Shaw, Tyrell Malacia, Lenny Yoro, whenever all of these players are coming back from injury. Kobbie Mainoo, I believe, he might be late November or early December. I'd have to look, but we should have Shaw back again towards the end of the month. So I don't know that we'll necessarily see him play, right whenever he's available. At least not for a full match. I would hate to see him get injured again, right after coming back from injury. So fingers crossed there. But in the meantime, we will have the back line of Diogo Dalot, Lisandro Martinez, Matthijs de Ligt, and Noussair Mazraoui. I think that this is just kind of the go-to bread and butter right now. We have had a lot of good performances coming from other center backs, but I think this is definitely the best lineup that we have in the back at the moment. Only for the reason that we haven't really gotten to see Harry Amaz play, honestly. I think that it would be nice to see him get a run out. I don't know that he will, but it would be good to see him get a few minutes, since we don't know kind of where everything's going to stand whenever Ruben comes in. So, again, kind of the usual backline, usual suspects. I think that de Ligt and Martinez have definitely stepped up their performances here recently, and Noussair Mazraoui has just been a solid performer, probably one of our best performers, honestly, for the whole season. Diogo Dalot, selected out of necessity. Unfortunately, he has not had a great season. He's continued to struggle. He's not looked great on offense, and he's been a bit of a liability on defense. So we'll just have to kind of wait and see what happens with his position whenever Ruben comes in, as well as whenever we have additional options at on that left-hand side. I don't think you can drop Mazraoui. I think he's going to be first choice. So sorry to Diogo Dalot. You might be one of those people that Saf was talking about in in the transfer renaissance that Ruben Amorim is going to enact if those performances aren't stepped up a little bit. So again, we'll just have to kind of wait and see where that goes. And in the meantime, we can move on to that first line of defense against to protect that defense. And that's going to be Christian Eriksen, who has had a phenomenal season thus far. He's been one of our best performers on offense in terms of assists and goal output, despite the fact that he's getting up there a little bit in age. But I mean, you really wouldn't be able to tell with all of his performances. He's looked up for the challenge, up for getting forward and back, and really contributing into that midfield engine room, so to speak. And I think he'll get paired up with Ugarte, who he definitely struggled his first few games in the Premier League, but I think he started to adapt. He definitely had a good showing against Leicester, in my opinion, in the EFL Cup, and so should be seeing him again against this Leicester side that we have already beaten handily, well, rather handily once. It would have been nice to get a clean sheet and those 5 goals, but you can't always have both. It's still a work in progress. We are still trying to find our cohesiveness as a unit here at Manchester United. What with all of the turnover and everything that we've been witnessing over the last few seasons, and so Ugarte is a part of that. De Ligt and Mazraoui, they're a part of it. They're more familiar with each other, having come over together from Bayern Munich. So that's been a good pairing thus far. And so, we'll just have to play them, a little bit more in a lot of these games, and just get them, that understanding between the players to really be as effective as humanly possible. Speaking of being effective up top, that's a spot that we've kind of been lacking in the offensive department for the better part of this season. Alejandro Garnacho has been a little bit wasteful here in the last few weeks, but he's I believe he's currently our top goal scorer. He's and I think he might be up there on assists as well. He's got he's definitely shown that he can do it, and he's probably one of our more in form attackers currently. And so I definitely expect him to play. He and Marcus Rashford have been swapping sides a lot, in the middle of the match. So I've got him out on the left, where I think he could definitely start. It's his preferred position, if not his best position. I think that he does have the capacity to come in on that right wing and create a lot of havoc and chaos for any of the backs of the opposition team. So I love to see the energy that he brings. He's gotten a lot of opportunities. We just need him to be a little bit more clinical, which I definitely back him to do. He's a great player. He's shown that he can do the spectacular, and we're hoping to see more of that in the coming years. Honestly, he could very well be a talisman for us for a long time. Speaking of talismans, our current talisman is Bruno Fernandes. There, our captain, there in the center of offense. He's had a little bit of a resurgence here in the last couple of weeks. Like I said, he got a couple of goals against Leicester. He set up Højlund with a cheeky little flick, and put away a penalty against Chelsea. So and played the ball to Diallo, if I'm not mistaken, for his header in the last game that we had out against PAOK yesterday. So a little bit of an uptick in form. Hopefully he can keep that going. We really need him to be the catalyst of our offense. That's what he's been doing. Whenever we see that Bruno Fernandes is doing well, Manchester United is doing well. It's just, there's no two ways about it. He can make the difference, and that's why he's our captain. And so hoping to continue to see some more of that improvement, or see some more improvement upon those last few outings. So definitely back him to do that as well. On the other hand, we do have Marcus Rashford, who is still kind of experiencing that dip in form. He's not really been there as much as we'd hope for him to be this season, but with the injury to Amad Diallo potentially keeping him out of the side, I think we're going to have to see Marcus Rashford in there on the right wing. Maybe Amad Diallo is going to be available and come off the bench, but I personally wouldn't want to risk him coming back, 3 days later and potentially aggravating that foot injury. So with a full 90 minutes or even 60 to 70 minutes. So I think Marcus Rashford's going to start, and we'll just have to hope that he can find a bit of form himself. And up top, another guy who needs to be scoring some goals is Rasmus Højlund. He's not really gotten off on the right foot thus far. Started this season basically the same way that he started last season, injured and struggling to find goals whenever he came back. So we're gonna need him. He's definitely our most clinical striker in terms of finishing off chances and opportunities that we create through other means. I think that the relationship that he has with Amad Diallo can potentially flourish. Amad likes to get to the touchline and play the ball across, as well as take people on and cut inside and take those shots. So I've seen a little bit more of that from Diallo than I have from like Rashford and Garnacho in terms of, that getting to the touchline and bring the ball back across, which Højlund is he's gonna pick up on any types of those plays, and he's probably going to score goals so long as he's getting fed the ball. Which, for me, honestly, I'm surprised that he's not just started to get absolutely furious that he's not getting chances. He needs to be getting more chances. We need to be getting the ball to him, in those finishing areas. He's struggled a little bit the last couple games in holding the ball up and waiting for other players to get forward. He doesn't drop in so far, but he does like to have his back to goal and hold the ball up and get other people involved. Unfortunately, his touch has kind of let him down, and he's been dispossessed a little bit easier than I'd like to see from a striker of what I know his quality is. I know that he's a great striker and that he can do a lot of that stuff. We're just going to have to see a little bit more from him out of his performances. But, this being a match against Leicester that we've already beaten within the last couple weeks to the tune of 5-2, I don't see any other way around us getting a win this Sunday. So that is going to be my prediction. I think we are going to see more goals, and I'm hoping for a clean sheet. So I'm going to go ahead and say 3-0 is going to be my prediction. I think we are going to see some goals, and I think we're going to see a lot of good things on defense as well in terms of protecting that back line and transitioning from defense to offense. Hopefully quickly. I'd like to see us get the ball up the field a little bit more, be a bit more direct. I think that we look good whenever we're doing that. Yes, sometimes that's not always on, so it's up to the players to realize when it is and when it's not. But we'll just have to kind of wait and see. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. Do you guys like this lineup? Do you think that this is going to be Ruud van Nistelrooy's very last match as a coach at all at Manchester United for the foreseeable future? And let me know what you guys think about the prediction, whether or not you think we're going to get the win. If we do, what your scoreline would be. And again, thank you to everybody that has followed on Rumble and subscribed on YouTube. Those are free. It helps us out, helps us, spread the good word about, the RedVsRed podcast. If you guys bring in more subs and more people, let your friends know that we are out here. We're doing the devil's work, so to speak. So thank you again for everybody that has made it this far, and we will see you on Sunday post-match for the full review, and will give us your thoughts then. So looking forward to engaging with you guys, and we will see you on Sunday.